Inspired and tired, that's the gist of our podcast. Inspired, but we're tired. Should we create or should we take a nap?
Create.
Nap. We should definitely nap.
Chase, we're doing the show.
That's right. Of course we're doing the show. Yeah, no, that's what I said. Yeah. Inspired and Tired with your hosts, Chase and London.
That's us.
Okay.
That should be the theme song for LA. That's like everyone I know feels that way.
That's our theme song. We're starting?
Oh, we're starting.
Going.
We have
We're
started.
on.
Oh,
We're
okay.
live.
Hi, everyone. This is Inspired and Tired with your hosts, Chase and London. If it's your first time tuning in, this is a show about creativity and how to live a creative life. And guess what?
We got a guest today.
We have a guest today, and London has written a very special intro.
No,
so
jeez.
Very special. I've done some
Lord.
research.
take
Oh,
it away,
boy.
London.
So we have Nick Simmons here, who's a writer.
Simmons, you've already gotten it wrong.
Oh, gosh.
Start over.
Yeah, there's many of me. It's multiple.
Plural.
It's plural.
Nick Simmons.
You're plural. Nick Simmons.
We don't have to do a resume. I mean, we don't have to do this.
Oh,
This
we're
is-
doing
okay,
it.
All right. Okay.
You're going to see when we're done how many things are accurate or incorrect
Yeah,
from my intro.
we'd like to
so
hear what you
feel
think
free to
is-
fact check after. Nick Simmons is a writer, musician, reality television personality, and voice-over actor. He's known for starring in the A&E reality television series Gene Simmons, Family Jewels. He
It's
wrote...
before your time. It's okay.
Oh, it's not. 2006,
Actually, our time.
2006 to 2012, I know exactly where I was.
Oh, I meant like him and his stuff.
Oh, no, he's got a tongue.
Yeah, that's what he's. Okay.
Okay. He wrote and created a comic book series and also was a writer for the Huffington Post. According to Instagram, he's a 6'8" malamute with existential dread.
It's a type of big dog.
Oh.
It's like a husky.
And why the existential dread?
I don't know. You watched the news lately?
I mean, it's rough out there.
Where do I begin?
Why the existential?
Are you just living in like cloud candy land?
Fairyland? Sometimes.
Yeah, my sister and I used to live together. We had 2 Alaskan malamutes, and
Oh wow.
we had this huge one that was like 200 pounds, and she's like, he's like you, like he's big and scary, like but he's harmless and friendly, and yeah, I
And
would have
that's
said
you.
Saint Bernard, but we didn't.
Malamute. Yeah, I
Oh.
can see
You
that
sort of get
for
the
sure.
you get the gist of my personality if you look at that thing, because it's like,
Yeah.
I guess if it had a different personality, it could be mean because it's so big, but
But it's gentle.
it's a gentle giant, yeah.
And you had
Oh.
2 of those.
Yeah, my sister had a one runt, so it was much smaller, and then one that was like almost as heavy as me.
Oh my gosh. We had a Great Dane and who was just the sweetest
Yeah,
little
that'll do it.
angel.
That'll do it. I
But
should have put Great
huge.
Dane in my bio because nobody seems to know what a malamute is.
Yeah, I didn't know Malamute.
But now I do.
It's like a
And that's you.
floppier husky, a bigger, like dopier looking husky.
Aren't they all descended from
Gray
Togo?
wolves. Oh, I don't know.
Togo.
Sounds like you know something about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
a pretty big
What's
dog fan.
Togo?
Togo was, you know Balto?
Mm-mm.
Balto the Disney movie? Oh, you'd love this.
Really?
It's based off a true story. You can
A
you
dog
can
that
explain
saved
it.
a bunch of sledders that got trapped in snow.
Oh, see,
Delivering
Chase,
medicine.
We don't
We
like
don't
dog
watch
movies.
No, it's a
about
cartoon.
dogs.
It's a cartoon.
Horses.
It's
They're
a Disney
so-
cartoon.
Is it sad?
No, it's
Sounds-
very uplifting.
It's triumphant.
It's for children.
There's no
Really?
dead dog in it at the
No,
end.
but the reality is that Balto is bullshit. Balto only did like the very end of it, and they
Oh, yeah.
used his name because it was like more interesting than the
Right.
dog that actually led that train.
This I knew, yeah.
But Togo is the one that did like the super long, like back and forth.
So the dog, they
Wow.
were sledding like medicine for sick children. They got caught in a blizzard, and like the dog got them, against all odds, got the medicine to.
I'm already
the
tearing
kids
up.
and
I know,
everything's
me
fine.
too. It sounds
It's so
sad to me.
There's like a
Sad.
statue of Togo somewhere, right?
Oh.
There's like
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my! See, like I feel like even Air Bud is sad.
So you're saying
So
all malamutes are
sad.
descended from Togo?
Yeah, I can't. I think I know that Togo is
What a man.
is
Jeez.
like is like the source of like I don't know if it's I think it's
It's like
malamutes.
a friendly
It could
Genghis
be-
Khan.
It could be a different husky breed though, because malamutes
Wow.
are related to huskies, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they look a lot like them. They're just bigger and dopier. Yeah.
I do like huskies. If I was a dog, I'd be a husky.
Really?
Yeah, they
like the way
say
they talk.
the eyes.
Yeah, you look.
The
Yeah,
yeah, I've been told I look like a husky a few times.
Oh.
yeah. I've got more of a like.
You're more of a malamute.
I've gotten golden retriever.
Spirit
Maybe
animals.
maybe a puppy.
Aw.
Oh.
sweet.
I honestly didn't know how they were going to
You're
take that.
just as
I
sweet
thought,
as a malamute.
yeah.
what are you saying? I'm small.
She's adorable.
Chase, you give me Cocker Spaniel vibes.
Huh.
See, that was less of a good reaction.
Lady from Lady and the Tramp.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, right. The pretty one. Yes, the
Yeah,
pretty.
very
Okay, the
regal.
pretty one.
It's the Disney princess dog. The
Yeah.
Lady and the
Thank
Tramp.
you. Okay.
Have you guys not seen Lady and the Tramp?
We've
seen
seen
I
it,
was like, how old am I?
but
We're
you're
the same
our
age, honestly.
Are we?
34.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we should get the same things. We should, but we'll find out. So it's all about creativity here.
How did we
Oh.
do with your intro?
Intro, yeah.
What's
great.
right? What's wrong?
No,
we-
I think you got it. Yeah.
Did we
Oh.
leave anything out? Are there any big moments in your kind of creative
And
journey
you mentioned
that
the show, right? The show. I was on a show.
I'm so interested to hear about the show?
We wanna
I
talk
got it.
I mean, I
about-
talked about it with Christina a little, but
But
whatever.
we
You were
wanna
on it
hear
for
it again.
6 years. That's
yeah,
a
I thought it was actually
long-
7, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, something like that.
And that was like high school to call.
High school to after college, just after college, yeah.
Wow.
Such a long chunk of like.
Oh, and the most
Your
awkward
life.
chunk. The most
Yeah.
like experimenting with different ways to dress and
Yeah.
deciding what kind of like genre of music you're into and your first dating experiences and all that good stuff you don't want on film.
And the cameras, they would come with you on that first date. Is it captured
Well,
for us all to see?
They did. Oh, Jesus, please don't. When people Google me, I have like a fight or flight reaction.
I have the same thing, and I don't.
Oh, God, the fucking beads.
So I can't
Jesus
even
Christ.
Oh
imagine.
my gosh.
The fucking beads. Oh, don't. No, I don't.
No, you're so adorable.
There's all these pictures where it looks like I'm trying to like smolder, like I'm doing this sort of like.
Here you're a.
Oh God, that's
Zoolander.
Tyra Banks'
You're
show.
a puppy
Jesus Christ.
malamute.
Jesus Christ.
I think that's a great photo.
I think that's a
I gotta
great
say.
photo.
Yeah, but again,
see
it looks
nothing
like I'm
wrong.
trying to do like it looks like I'm deliberately going like boom, blue steel, and really I was just like, how do people? I just
How do
when
people
you're in,
stand?
I'm not used to step and repeat, so when you're in front of that, you're kind of like, how do I smile for a photo? Just try not to move, and I was just like, don't move, and they won't get you in like an awkward. And then it just looked like I was, smoldering really hard. You know that scene in I'm sure you've seen Twilight. You've seen like the
Yeah.
type.
Yeah.
The
Now
We've
we're
seen
on
it.
the right page here.
Yeah.
Vampires will walk.
oh, there's Amber Rose. Okay, so there's a whole.
If you guys
thing.
haven't Googled,
Okay, we're good. I'm all
Zachary,
set.
you should.
I'm all set.
Okay.
There's
Am-
some good photos
Amber is
going
very
on.
sweet. Which story was I telling? Oh,
You went on a date.
And they came with you with the cameras?
so no, I mean I they filmed on the weekends. I was in school. I didn't skip school for this.
Okay.
In the valley.
Nice.
No.
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 Where did you hear that?
I thought we grew
Not
up.
from my
I thought we grew
bio.
up close by.
I grew up in Beverly Hills,
Oh yeah,
Okay.
in Beverly Hills.
which
Come
you
on.
know,
Beverly
That
Hills.
is not
it
the
was a
Not
rough,
the valley.
Chase.
It's a rough neighborhood, and
It is not a rough neighborhood.
No,
You've got
it's not.
tree-lined streets.
yeah, no, we literally lived behind like a Mordor gate. It was pretty.
That's pretty cool.
But like, you know what I missed out on? I don't know where I was going. There was another story
That's
happening.
okay.
It's
Let's
gone.
just go with what we're going.
I did miss out on that whole like I would see movies where everybody knows their neighbors, and Beverly Hills is the most antisocial place, and like everybody has a giant hedge and a giant gate, and it's like
And you're
don't
just-
fuck with me, and it's like I didn't know any of my. To this day, I lived there until I was 17 or 18. I had never met my neighbors, and I didn't know that was weird until I was like all my friends know their neighbors somehow.
Right.
Hey John, how you doing? Like
Did we know?
Nothing.
We knew our neighbors.
Yeah, you get familiar with your neighbors.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is interesting.
not me.
That's
So
very-
growing up
no, because they're
there-
all like they all think they're hot shit, or there's some in the show business, or it's like a banker and he's like, "Fuck you, get off my property."
Yeah.
And you pull in with your tinted window Mercedes, and,
Right.
and then you shut your giant gate, and that's how my parents
Oh,
lived.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine. I mean, your dad is ultra famous.
So I thought you were gonna
Like,
say old, and yes, but he's so old.
He's wise.
No, he's ultra famous. Like what is that like growing up?
I
with
mean,
a
again, it's
dad
like
that?
it's all relative, right? Because it's not in his heyday. It was like what you probably are imagining, which is like traveling with bodyguards and
Mm-hmm.
getting snapped. I think
Getting snapped.
snapped. Oh, sorry,
Oh,
getting
Sorry, I
papped.
don't know the term.
I don't. All right, get it. I don't know why I said it that way. I don't think that's even.
Getting snapped.
I talk like I'm from Prohibition. Like I have like a lot of antiquated slang. Anyway,
I'm learning things. It's great.
When I was born, it was already like it was 1989, and then don't.
What, Taylor
Don't.
Swift?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say a
She
thing.
just took my birth year and just made it out. And now it's like, no matter when I say, everyone's going to be like, oh, like the fucking.
Taylor Swift. You're the same age as Taylor.
London got 88.
I'm 88.
Yeah.
So right on the... Oh, we're pulling
Rob's
up Taylor.
pulling up something else.
89.
Do we have to
89.
Google? Yeah, we know.
We
her.
know. We know the album cover.
She's much more famous than any of us.
She gets snapped all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she's
can't go
always
nowhere
snapped.
without getting snapped. So when you were born, I feel
Yeah,
like
I told you a funny story about that one, but I don't know if this is. I feel like I
This
got
isn't the time.
I don't know. I feel bad for not giving it to Sickler because that's his whole thing was like the most embarrassing, and that was probably one of the most embarrassing.
What if you just
I could, if you
tease
want.
it? Don't go into detail. Just
Oh, I know her guitarist in her band, and
Okay.
we chatted once, and I asked her on a date, and she ghosted me.
Taylor Swift.
I'm
1989.
speechless.
And I struck out, like I said something embarrassing, and I was like, oh fuck, that was bad, and then we just didn't.
But he'll tell the whole story on
I'll do a whole
Sickler's
thing.
So
podcast.
follow.
Now I feel bad. Now
Follow along.
No.
to
I'm
find out.
saying like that's a teaser.
She's very
for
sweet.
it.
She didn't do anything wrong. I was just like, I made some stupid joke, and she was like, huh? And I was like, oh, that was the end of that. Like that pretty much.
But you said she was very nice.
She is nice. Yeah, she's a nice person. It's also hard to act normal, and nobody does when you're around someone who is at the peak of people being obsessed. Like no one in the room acts normal, so it's like very hard to be like, hey, how's it going? Like even if you're used to meeting famous people, when there's that vibe of everyone's like from the corner of their eye, they're all kind of like staring.
But I guess this goes back to growing up. Is that something you noticed, like people would do around you and your family?
Sometimes. I mean, Dad's very, even when people don't know who he is, which is, like, again, he was famous. I mean, he is famous, but his peak of his fame was the late 70s and 80s. And so when young people, they're like, they know it's somebody because he's a very weird looking guy. Like he's got this crazy hair and dresses crazy. But they're just like, Steven Seagal? Like they're not sure.
Right. He has that aura.
No, it's like, I mean, he's so odd looking. You go like, okay, that guy does something in entertainment. Like,
Right.
He's not like a barista. Like, he's wearing shades and like studs on his cowboy boots and shit. And you're kind of like, all right, that's some guy. But he's like also in his 70s. So you're kind of like, if you're a young kid, you're like, that's,
right.
he's in a band probably. Like, yeah.
Right.
But if you go in the right part of town, if you go in the right area, then yeah, you get swarmed by, Dean Del Rey types.
Is he also 6'8"?
No, he's
Where'd you get
6'2".
your height?
I don't know, man. How does that all work?
I don't know. That's
People ask me that all the time. And
Is
I'm
your
like,
mom tall?
Yeah, they're all kind of tall. My sister's 5'10". My mom is probably around that, 5'11".
Oh.
I wish I had more for you.
Okay.
Hey, that makes sense.
I fell into nuclear waste. That's a good pun.
Gene.
Yeah.
Plural. Okay, so you grew up.
We don't have to interview. I want to interview you guys about comedy or something.
No.
This is why I go on these
I
things.
want to hear about how you have always done so many creative things, like from writing.
Ah, that's the theme of that.
And
Yeah,
exactly.
We're
So
getting into creativity here. So
when
Wow.
did you kind of venture off from being on the show with your family into doing your own thing and taking your
Way
creativity?
late. I mean, I think. Well, first of all, I think this show. I talked about this a little on maybe Potter, but when you're on a show as a kid, you get encouraged to death to do things that you probably shouldn't do. Like, you should release an album. It's like, well, I'm not really good at any instruments yet. They're like, don't worry about it. It'll sell. You're on a show. And they're just you can die of encouragement. So I did, I was close to releasing music and I backed out at the last minute and thank fucking God I didn't. Sorry, can I swear on this show? Is this
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I was like, thank God I
Inspired
didn't,
and
because
tired.
it's again, there's a level of development when you're young, I think, when people say no to you when you're not good enough to do a thing. They'll go that's not a good book you just wrote, so I'm not going to publish it. And you go, okay, and you have to go be a better writer and then come back. And when you're on a show,
interesting.
they're like, it doesn't matter if it's shitty, we'll publish it because we'll probably make money because you're on a TV show.
Right.
So a bunch of things happened like that where I was in rooms I shouldn't have been in and got to do things I shouldn't have done, where the people were like, you're great, it's awesome, it's great. And it wasn't great. It was not good. And someone should have told me that. And I was suspicious that it wasn't great, but everyone around you is like, you know, just like, that's awesome. You're so talented. You're so great. And then, so a couple things, I mean, it's hard to find specifics, but like, I remember just looking back on it and going like, oh, I probably should have gone through the whole gauntlet of like slowly getting better at a craft. And then by the time people see it, you're good at it.
Right.
And like imagine if your very first open mic was on A&E.
Right.
It's like, that's not the time. Yeah.
Right.
That gives every comedian like the shivers.
Wow, I haven't thought of that.
Yeah, your first, like, I'm going to try this out. And people are like, we will air it on primetime television and we will give you an album deal right now. And you just do that material.
Right.
So I have a couple things where, like, I sang on somebody's song that's really terrible, like, and I wasn't a good singer at that point. So I was, like, yelling. And they were like, it's awesome, because I was the son of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, let's do it. And I had to, like, beg him later, like, please don't release that. Like, I will buy the rights off of you. Please don't release that. It's awful. It's terrible.
Ugh.
I'm sure it's out there somewhere. And there's like a bunch of other things like that where I was like,
You're just like
shouldn't have done
thrown
that.
in a, like.
No one will be like, that's not good. You should get better at that.
And
No
you
one will-
had that, though, like, compass inside of yourself. And I'm sure it
No.
was great.
No.
But you said that
No.
you had, like...
I'm doing stuff now that I've said this on Christina's, I'm going by a different name because I'm shy now. So there's stuff out there that I've made that no one knows is me. But I'm proud of that. I'm not like shy about being like, that stuff is good. I'm proud of it because I took a lot of time and made it good.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff back then is not good. Like, it's not. And it's a kid like trying to find his way. And you don't usually air those developmental stages on TV, nor should you. You should like
No.
let a kid germinate and become who he's going to
Yeah.
become. Like,
Well,
it's amazing when you see like prodigies, like child prodigies that are just who they are immediately, like Stevie Wonder and like, you know, the young Michael Jackson and like some of these. I mean, his parents had something to do with it.
They
I
had
guess, but,
something to do with it.
you know, like there are these people who just like these
Immediately are
like
just-
Lorde, who comes out and she's this fully formed aesthetic,
yeah.
and Billie Eilish, you know, these young kids
Christina Aguilera was.
who, right, like they just have this, or they have a team around them that's making sure it's crafted in the right direction, you know, whatever. But I think that's a very tiny. I think most people are like cringe for a couple years before.
I was just reminiscing on Rebecca Black's Friday.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
so much
yeah.
empathy for her.
I
like,
do too.
she did not deserve that. Like the
But
level of
that
hate.
was a hit.
Yeah,
I
but
mean-
London,
Now it
she
is.
got like
She
death
got de-
threats and
decimated.
like
Like,
she was just for fun,
Right.
like
and
just
her dad
for
had
fun,
some money, I guess, and she like produced a
They
music
made the
video
music
for her.
for-
just
Everyone
like
saw
for
that.
fun.
But it's like she's like 16, and it's like, of course the lyrics aren't, you know, like Leonard Cohen. What do you expect? Like,
Right.
I think
and
she
you
was
know, I laughed.
13.
I
She
laughed.
was
Like
in
I
middle
wasn't
school.
immune to how that music video is funny.
It
but it's
is.
funny, and like people were like, what an idiot. Like, how dumb
like
is she?
you shouldn't be
and you
alive.
kind of go like, what did you do at 15? Like, where's your finger painting? Like,
Were people coming after? I know it's a little
She's
bit
got
of
a
a
career now.
different. She does.
she writes. She's
Yeah.
a songwriter. She does what
Good
my
for
sister does.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm actually gonna be seeing her at a festival in July.
How are you?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think I like that she's now kind of being looked at by my generation as like, oh, that was kind of unfair, and she was a kid. Like, that's
Definitely.
not cool.
I feel like America was the worst.
And nobody was like, hey, tone it down. Everyone was like, this is crazy.
We're
Look
like,
at this
how
crazy
dare
video.
this middle schooler
got-
put out a song?
Oh, parodied on SNL and shit. And,
Well, this
yeah.
was before the whole like mental health
Yeah, bullying is bad. Yeah.
examples of like doing better to help encourage people.
And let's be
you know.
clear. There's a difference between like, this music video is hilarious, which it is.
It
It's
is.
hilarious.
It's fucking funny. And then going to the girl and being like, you're stupid. Like, there's a different, like, YMH does this where they will play clips of people making a fool of themselves, but they're not gonna like go to their house or like find them and be like, you fucking suck.
Right.
They're just like, they laugh at the thing that they put out and they go, ha ha ha. And
This
then,
is what we talked about. This how cruel the internet is and how that can like
oh, I mean, I don't read comments anymore.
right.
Yeah.
And I almost would love you to touch on that because I thought what you had to
Oh, you
say
mean what
about
we talked about at Delilah?
yeah.
We-
Because
You
I
were
feel
worried
like
about honeydew.
I was worried about my honeydew episode.
Please share why. Because
I
it's so
was-
unfounded. You were fine.
I was worried that the show is highlighting your lowlights, and I was worried my lowlights weren't low enough. And
Oh,
I'm aware that they're not that low, but I
Right.
didn't want to come off like I was unaware of that. And I
You didn't want to seem like you were whining or.
I didn't want to
Yes.
seem like I was like, oh, boo hoo, my life. I just was sharing like whatever. And I, for the past like month and a half waiting for it to come out, I was dreading what the internet was going to say about me, because anytime I talk now, I'm like, what's the mean comment that's going to happen?
I mean, there's your issue. This is a lesson I learned when I was 16. I think I Googled, the last time I Googled myself, I was in high school.
We just did it earlier today.
Yeah, like that. So again, like
no wonder it was triggering.
Anytime I'm on these pods, I go like, I was on a thing, and they go, oh, let's pull it up, and I go, don't. It's like, what are the odds the Google algorithm is going to portray you in the way that, one, you want to be portrayed, but even in an accurate way? Like, what are the odds the first result's going to be like, that's a good summation of me as a person? It's like, no, it's going to be the one that people clicked on the most for whatever.
Controversy.
Or the algorithm's like, his mouth's open in that one. Put that one up top. Like, that's.
Right.
But you were reading comment, and I was just like, if I was a comedian, I would never fucking ever read. These are and I was talking about how this is a real thing. Like, I don't know anyone who leaves YouTube comments in real life. Do you?
I have.
No,
like,
London.
But they're positive.
Right.
You've never written.
Have you ever met a person in real life who has admitted to going on Lady Gaga's music video or something and saying, this sucks, or like something about this, I don't like that, send. Have you ever met anyone?
No, I've left a
Never.
nasty review for like United Airlines.
No, that's
But
different.
When they did me
London.
dirty.
You know what I'm talking about. Though. Like, there's a type of person we're trying to nail down.
London,
here.
Okay,
you're
not
not
me.
helping.
Okay.
No, you haven't done it, and we don't know anyone.
Okay.
Right, but like
Okay.
think about that for a second. That like, you know a lot of people. Do you know anyone who has ever even come close to being like a regular YouTube commenter who like fucks with people's like
It's like you
Ever,
should
ever. Who
not
are these
be
people?
alive and comment that and send, or like
picture your average mean comment on a celebrity's thing. Do you think any of those people are people you know in real life? Like, or anyone like? Do you know anyone like that?
I hope not.
Right.
I
So
mean,
these are the
no.
people that we give weight to when we read these
Right.
comments. So like, I don't even know anyone like that. Why would I?
we don't know
This is
anyone that's actually sitting there and typing mean comments
And even
to
if-
celebrities.
And
we
if you
might,
did, would you be like, why are you doing that, man? That's so weird. Like, why are you yelling at Katy Perry today? Like, that's the weirdest thing to do.
why are you yelling at this random person?
Or this
that-
comedian. Yeah, like, why are you like, not funny, women aren't funny. I liked her better when she was on this, send. And you kind of go
Yeah.
like, who is that guy? That's the weirdest thing to do.
But the population is like, they just live on YouTube or social media commenting. Like,
Yeah,
they're
it
not
sounds-
in the real world.
It sounds cliche to say, like, but I don't know anyone like that. Think about, like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, it sounds like I'm trying to justify not listening to negative critiques, but I literally don't know a single person who spends their time that way. And I don't think any of us do. So
Except
it's like,
London seems to think she does.
I've done
but-
it a couple. I don't spend the average day.
I don't think you've ever done. I mean, I'd be shocked if you were like, you went to Katy. Well, here's what happens when you don't like a music video from an artist. What do you do?
Well, probably I just don't even watch it.
There, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's normal.
You go like, oh, I didn't like. You go, I didn't like
I
that,
turn
and
it
maybe you
off.
turn to your friend and be like, that sucked, and then you just do something else, like, or
Right,
you make
you
fun of
like-
it in your real life with
right.
your
Talk
friends.
With
about
your
it.
friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
yes.
were just talking about Love is Blind, which like,
I gotta.
Have
catch
you
up.
heard Love is?
No, I gotta
Love is Blind?
watch it.
Yeah,
See.
yeah. It was a
Uh,
good season.
and like we have so much to say about like
But would you
the
go to their
people,
socials
but
and be
we
like,
would
you fucked
never-
over John, and you're a
Never.
piece of shit?
never were
Yeah,
we
like-
commenting on them and said no.
No.
So
Yeah, would you go
That-
to that person's social and be like, I really didn't like the way you spoke to Kate today, and I think you're a bad person, send. And then you go like, I'm going to go make dinner for my kids. And it's like,
No.
who fucking does that?
So when you said that, it was very like, oh, the people that are writing mean comments
It's a type of person.
is a type of person that like it doesn't matter their opinion.
Yeah, it's like if your audience in a stand-up show, they're probably not there.
Right.
Or there's one. You know what I mean? Like the people that are on there, they're probably not at your show.
And then didn't you say, or did I hear this somewhere else, that like if you give weight to the negative ones,
Yeah,
you
that's
have to give weight to the positive ones. So just like
Opposite. But yeah, if you give away, like if you let that was my mistake as a teenager. When the show first started, I was like,
Would you guys get negative feedback?
Well, I
Obviously,
mean-
you'd get positive feedback. It was on for a
well,
long
so
time.
the positive was mostly first. Like the moment we first debuted, they were like, oh, his kids are so cute. I would get attention from girls. They'd be like, oh, you're cute. And I was like kind of like overwhelmed by that attention. And I got like, again, that much. There's people who are like actually famous who I can't imagine they're mentally well, because it had a huge effect on me. And then the moment I saw even like one negative thing, I was like devastated by it. And then I was like, oh, I believed the person that said, oh, you're so hot. So now I have to believe this person that says you're a piece of shit. You take it or leave it. Like you kind of go like, all right, don't become a narcissist when someone calls you hot, but also don't, want to kill yourself when someone says, you suck. You can just go, all right, that's people. That's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
There is
what
an
they
objective
think.
truth between those two things that is what real life is. So
And that's a lesson you got to learn much earlier than a lot of people.
I wish I'd
going
learned it
through
earlier than that, honestly.
Well, also we were saying that like me and Nick went to Delilah
Clearly,
a couple weeks
you
ago,
guys
so we had a
pre-show
combo.
chat.
Okay, but
Oh, I mean, I started
I'm out
as
of the loop.
I started as a fan, man. I'm just a
nice.
Chase O'Donnell fan.
Same. So
I've listened to Potters since it started, and
Chase
YMH
has been
since
on
it
there
started.
a few times.
Like I listened to YMH when they were on the couch in
Wow.
like Red Band's
Oh
apartment.
my gosh.
Wow.
Now, have you ever dabbled in comedy?
No, I'll never do it.
You
no.
don't want
I
to
don't-
test a joke or two out here?
I
It's a
feel
really comfortable forum.
I feel like this town is full of people who like if they like something they want to be. I'm happy being a fan. Like I really don't want to do stand up. And then I said that to Sickler, and he's like, "That's good." Like everybody wants to do what I do, and just because they like it. And I'm like, "Yeah,
Well,
I'm not cut out
yeah.
for it."
No, me neither.
a lot of people tell me if they hear I do stand up, they'll go, "Oh, everyone tells me I should do stand up."
Right.
And
right.
I that's not true.
It's
if your
different.
friends told you that, they're wrong.
If you can,
not.
if you're funny at the group dinner, it is a different skill than
Being funny on
being
stage.
funny on stage.
No,
But
I mean, I find that's the opposite. Whenever someone gets brought up on stage with like Jeff Ross or something, it's always the guy who thinks he can quip back, and they never do. Like, it's
No.
never good. He really, you can tell in his face, like, he'll go like, and that's why you're bald. And he'll look around and be like, why isn't this working? And you go, because this isn't your fucking basement or your beer hall, man. This is a different
yeah,
setting. You have to actually have
different
skill
setting.
for this.
But granted, this guy was a lot like you, getting up there for the first time with, in front of a big crowd and
Sure, but he's,
in a big
in
forum.
his 30s.
It can be tough, man. Aw. So I want to know, okay, you did the show
I'm
and
sweating bullets in here. You guys hot?
it's really hot.
Jesus, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you London?
I'm doing okay.
I don't want you to do anything about it. I'm just complaining. But, sorry. I
Well,
didn't mean to
have
sound
your
like a
cold
diva.
brew.
Yes, thank
It's
you.
cold.
Let's hope.
What are you, a comedian?
Oh, you should do that for a living. You're very funny.
You're always funny when we hang out.
We hang
Without
out.
me.
Oh wait, just to finish that up, I was going to
Sorry.
say
Yeah.
the last thing we chatted about
Oh
that I
my
want to bring up
gosh.
is that
That I have many hot male friends that I might hook you up with.
well,
I am matchmaker central.
That's fun.
we
I keep
we'll
interrupting
see.
you. I'm sorry. Please finish your story.
that when you were on this show in the public eye, there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't like a way that people could just directly communicate
it was
with you.
early
Was it-
face,
was it
early,
snail
was
mail?
MySpace. It was MySpace.
Okay.
So that's where I saw a lot of like I saw my
Oh,
MySpace blow up,
Yeah.
and then I saw early Facebook. I even did like Friendster in between.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how old I am.
I never was on the Friendster, but I can't imagine being like a
Oh yeah,
big
and
MySpace
I remember when Tumblr
person.
was like a thing.
Love Tumblr.
Yeah.
I guess it is still.
You're
but
acting like you're older than us.
I know you're the same
I am
age.
too.
This living the way I did, I think aged me a bit.
You grew. You're very mature for your age.
I think I
You have to be.
I think I did two things. I think I was Arrested Development at first. I think I like stayed a kid way longer than I was a kid for sure because of that show and because my family's very close knit and my parents have always lived like in the same town as me nearby. So like I think I had a lot of not growing up when I was supposed to. And then I think I like right after college, I think I played catch up and like grew up real fast like after the show ended. I think the show infantilized. They want you to be like, you're a teen. And I'm like, 25. And they're like, no, you're a teen. You're
Yeah.
dress skinny jeans. And you're kind of like, there's this vibe of like, you have to maintain that thing. And then the show ended and I was like, oh, I can be like a 27-year-old guy now.
And you
so I
got
like tried to speed up and I think I got way older mentally.
Oh. And did you get to, for the first time, like be like, who am I? This whole time
I
I've
mean,
been
the
on
whole
this-
time. I feel like I've done that the whole time. But I also feel like every guy doesn't know who he is until like 28, 27.
Did you journal? How did you try to really connect with your inner self?
Trial and error. I mean, Jesus. Again, there's a lot of like, you can find my interesting fashion choices back in the day.
I like the beats. I don't care what you say.
I told Sickler I used to dress like White Hendrix. Like it was just like a lot of scarves, a lot of like But I discovered 70s music, and I was like, this is my life now. So I went hard, and I went to a school with a bunch of other kind of like hippie kind of dudes. So they were like, yeah, we're the beat. And then I would walk out, and I realized like, oh, the people I worship, the musicians I worship, they wear that on stage, like during a performance.
Not
They didn't wear it to school, like the
to
full.
school.
Where did you
Like
go to
Mick
school?
Jagger didn't wear the jumpsuit like to the restaurant
Right.
like the next day.
Maybe
he wore
Mick
it on,
Jagger would. but-
I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. Where did you go to school?
I went to Wildwood Secondary School, which is I went to public school until 9th grade, I think. And then Wildwood was like this total reversal of like this tiny private school. No uniforms, but it was like lots of
Artsy.
sons and daughters of people went there.
The who's who.
The who's that of people's families, yeah.
Is that?
Well, that's definitely a unique experience going to school in a setting like that. I think it forces you probably to feel like you want to claim yourself even more and like come up with who you are faster.
Yeah, I
would
guess. I
think.
mean, I think they also like because there was other sons and daughters of, then if you mentioned it, you're kind of a dick, because like everybody's got a relation that was so like it kind of
isn't
equalized. Like you weren't special for being related
Right.
to someone in show business, because other people were also like every other kid was related to somebody. So that was actually, I think, weirdly grounding. It's funny because like public school wasn't grounding. People would find out and like treat me very. I remember this is a weird, dark story. I remember in middle school in 7th or 8th grade, there was like this group of like 1 year older cool kids, and she's like, "Your voice is a lot." Can you just...
I have to take this sweatshirt.
I know, I'm dying. If I'm sweating on this, it's not just me.
I was on a reality show. It's called The Amazing Race.
What?
It filmed for 1 month.
Wait, that's
Seems like
amazing. Tell me
nothing
about that.
compared.
I was on just like they were pretending this is my real life, and it kind of sort of was. This is like a competition.
It was. We also
Tell me
filmed
about
a
that.
pilot though for a potential show about my crochet life, and that was like
We were
reality
like-
show
Lay it on
style.
me. Tell me.
We'd love to know if it was similar to you. Actually, let's keep this talk in.
Oh,
No, I think that's clear.
That's clear? Okay.
well, like how much of it was real and how much was fake?
They wanted to fake like the whole thing.
Okay.
My mom and I fought a lot. My sister and my dad were like, whatever, it's an opportunity. But
We found that like when they had us film just the pilot, it was so
It was more produced than I expected.
it was
There
very,
it always
like,
is. Yeah.
okay, this is like
Who was the
your-
production company? Do you remember? Is it Ben and Murray?
No, it's not.
Oh.
They were the ones that
Ben and Murray
did-
wanted to do a spin-off about me for a second. They produced like the Kardashians and Project Runway.
Oh.
They're down the street from here.
Wow.
And they wanted to, so that we filmed a weird pilot. It was like this, it's such a vanity project. It was like, Nick is cool and in a band, and now he's striking out on his own. And I was like, okay.
I
And they were like,
love it.
but they were like, can you put a band together?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, okay. It's like, do you have friends who look kind of cool, who can kind of play instruments? It was like that. It's
So
like
it was
literally,
a whole-
they don't give a fuck about what the actual music sounds like.
Yeah.
And Jeff Jenkins from Ben and Murray is actually a really good dude, and like really tried to help me be. He was like, no, we'll do it however you want to do it. Like he was trying to meet me halfway, but he has a business to run, and I was like, I just want it to be real. And he's like, cool, but I can't just film you 24/7. That would
Right.
be miles and miles of film. We have to like
That's-
plan something.
We also realized like when we were just being us, the cameras weren't rolling, and
Yeah.
we were like, well, that would have been
that
good.
would have been good, but
you have to like manufacture it for when
the
the
moments
cameras.
that they're actually
Yeah.
filming.
And of
we-
course,
so-
like when you know there's a camera, obviously there's a way you act. Like even if you're trying your best just to be
Exactly.
yourself, you are
Especially
aware
me.
that you're being watched.
Oh,
and
London's no good at acting.
You're doing fine.
Well, right now
As far
I
as
get
I know.
to be real.
But when like me and London would say something to me like, "Oh my god, I'm so stressed," and they're like, "Great, now say that for the camera," and then it was like,
Well,
I
that's
am
not
so
I am
so it was like, okay, well that wasn't real now. But anyways, so you found that it was.
They
a
got
little
good
fake.
at. I mean, I want to hear more about this crochet show, but they got good at. In the beginning, I was like, "Don't tell me if you're gonna do fake something. Just don't tell me, and just, plan it before I get in the room, so that if I react to it, at least I'm really reacting
Exactly.
to it."
You
So they
have, like,
towed
real
my
emotions.
I told this already on another, but like they towed my car once, and they were like, "Your car got towed," and they just filmed me like reacting to that, and they were like, "Don't worry, we have it. It's fine. Like
Oh
Great.
my!
it's
well,
around the corner."
But it was at
But
least an authentic.
I believed my car was towed, so what they filmed of me was me actually reacting. So we did a lot of that, where it was, like,
the date real? Well, you were
oh
about
yeah,
to
there
tell a
was
story
no,
about
there,
a date.
there was a fake date that they ran, and they forced me to do it, and it was like this girl was very sweet and like, she was clearly like, I think she's trying to be an actress. And whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, they did a thing where they didn't tell me what was going to happen there, where I will tell you in a second. But like,
Food poisoning.
What?
yeah,
Did the
I wonder
girl
if I
get
wonder if
sick
I
off
signed
the
a
food?
contract where I'm not supposed to say that it's fake.
I
But
don't know.
fuck it, I don't care. It's out. So you can't fire me. I don't work for you anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we went. They were like, we just need to. I mean, you're not. No one you're actually dating is comfortable with us coming along. And I was like, nope, they're not.
Yeah.
And they were like, we just need to do one thing about you because people want to know. I was like, okay, do they? And
they
so there was
wanna
this
know.
girl. There was this girl, and she's very sweet. And I was just like rigidly uncomfortable the whole time because
I'm
I was like,
sure.
it's sort of like I don't want to be the guy who's like the stripper likes me. It's like this person was hired to be here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like like
She likes me.
like yeah, she's into it. And they're like, would you be comfortable kissing? And I was like, no, absolutely not. And then I was like, all right, we just need you to go to dinner once and then go to the pier and then we'll be done. I was like, okay, I can do that, but this is it, like never again. And they were like, go down those stairs in the pier, like go down those. And I was like, okay. And it's like, yeah, there's like a little stretch of sand. We'll just film you guys like hanging out, talk about whatever you want. Like you can have a real conversation. And I was like, I was trying to talk to her about like, so how did you, the casting process? How was that?
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't talk about that right now.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Anything else? It's like, that's what I would actually ask this person.
That's what
Right.
I'd actually ask.
But I was like, I was half faking this conversation. It was like this weird, surreal moment. And then she got up and she's like, should we swim? And I was like, what?
Oh,
And she stripped down,
she knew what she
totally
was doing.
naked, and got in the water. And I was, and I immediately knew the producers told her to do that.
Yeah.
That this was entirely, and they
Acting.
got me like, they got what they wanted, which is me going like, what the fuck? And then I was just furious. Like I was furious
didn't
at the
go
producer. No.
Oh.
I was furious. I was just like, I was so disturbed.
I would have
by-
been too.
By the
I would have gone in.
again, it's like I don't even know if this person wants to do this. Maybe she has to.
If you knew they
because
were
she's
acting?
desperate. Like maybe she's like, this job is gonna pay her, but so she's like, all right, I guess I'll pretend to be the girl who wants to skinny dip right now. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm so uncomfortable, incredibly uncomfortable. And another story I should have told Ryan probably,
But you told us.
but I have the same anxiety about Ryan. I was like, it's such a strong theme where you're like, tell me the most
Yeah.
dark. And I was like, I told him
The anxiety.
my general thing, but I think I've got darker
What's
stories
the
than
question he asks?
He's like he highlights the lowlights, so it's like it's supposed to be the
he's
most
the low light
dark
guy.
or
Got it.
embarrassing thing that ever happened to you.
Oh gosh.
So anyway, she strips, and I like talked to her. I'm like, I'm never cool with that ever again. Like that
Right.
really sucked for me. And the producers are nice guys. They're like they're not bad people, but they need to do
They
their
need
job.
content.
And
Like good.
their boss is the network.
Yeah.
It was so they like at a certain point they knew that I was not down.
Right.
And Dad was totally down. He doesn't care, whatever. He'll fake whatever. He'll like say that again. He'll be like, say it again. He doesn't. He's like, money, whatever, cool. And my mom and I are like, it's funny. 'Cause my mom was an actress. She was on like soap operas and sitcoms and stuff, and lots of weird, funny like action B movies. She was in a movie with Hulk Hogan
Oh.
called Assault on Devil's Island, where she like had to, they're like secret agents or action stars, and she has to like dig a shark tooth out of his shoulder because he fights a shark. It's like a whole thing. But she's like acting as myself on a thing. Please don't Google my mom. She was in Playboy.
Oh gosh.
He's searching assault.
She was Playmate of the
on-
Year in '87, so that's probably she's gonna come up naked. It's fine. There's a whole thing. Anyway,
Just
She's-
don't Google
yeah, that's it.
anyone
That's
from your
it.
family.
That's Hulk.
Wow. She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But she was like, yeah, acting as yourself. She's like, I can't do it.
So
It
much
sucks.
harder.
It's a different thing.
She's like, I don't know where to stand. I don't know what to do with my hands. She's like,
Yeah.
it feels totally different. So
I've watched I watched some like
You watched the show?
no, I YouTubed like the interview parts.
The couch interviews, yeah.
That seems very real and authentic.
It is. That's the one that ironically, that's the part that looks the most like a TV set, and it was the realest
And
shit.
that's when me and London had the
Felt
most
the
fun.
realist as well.
When
And
we
on-
could just talk.
Honestly, the other realist thing was my parents almost breaking up. That was real.
That's your
There was a
Sickler
whole
interview.
season. Yeah, the Sickler interview was like they did a whole season where we discovered my dad had been cheating for years, and my mom was like,
It came out
Fuck it.
on the show.
no, she was like, and the producers were like, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to address it? Do you want to not
Right.
address it? And mom's like, fuck it. If it's going to get out there, I want to do it. So mom was like, roll film. Like, I want-
Wow.
and whatever happens, happens. And they're like, okay, this is really good for us, but as long as you're comfortable. She's like, Oh, I'm comfortable. Like
Oh
she was,
my gosh.
she was feeling.
Was that hard for you guys as the kids?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't even imagine
Wow.
having
Wow.
I remember just trying to like shut down, and not engage.
How could you not? Like
Yeah.
doing interviews, talking about that sort of thing.
And like groupie stuff was coming out about like.
Oh
him.
my
Yeah.
word.
Oh yeah.
So
And then it's like it's your
gosh.
dad. And it's like he's in his 60s at the time. I'm just like
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable.
that's that's a low.
that's what that was.
That's
sickler.
what he-
That was a good
sickler.
one.
what he talked
That
about.
was a good one.
That's a good one.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
It's like your parents getting infidelity with your parents is rough.
Yeah.
And then
But
it's
broadcast
produced
on national
Did.
television.
and it's like turned into scenes like where like and then they did and, like,
oh my
can you guys do a
word.
couch interview about that? And I was like,
It's
cool.
really, really hard.
Wow.
Sick.
That shapes you.
Well, honestly, people thought we faked that because it seemed so good for TV that people were like, this can't be. This has to be the fake part.
Right.
And I was like, ironically,
That's
the
the
only
real part.
there's so much stuff that they thought was fake was actually not.
Oh my
and
word.
the stuff that they thought was totally manufactured, I was like, no, that happened to me.
Wow. And you weren't living at home during the filming of this? You were on your own?
Half and half. So I went to college halfway through the show.
Okay.
So I moved out of the house then.
And
But
you lived like on campus and had your own.
I would drive back from Claremont. I went to Pitzer College in Claremont near Pomona. And I
What
would
were you
drive back
studying?
every weekend. English and world literature, the most useless degree.
Well, you've
world.
written, so
Nobody ever asked to see that degree.
no one asked
no
to
one's
see
asked-
my dance
Yeah.
She's a
degree.
dance
They're
degree.
like, no one's ever like, can I see your
Theater
bachelor's?
degree.
Can I see your bachelor's in English? They're like, no,
No.
give me a sample of your work and
Right.
how many followers do you have.
You like send over the diploma.
You're like, here's my
Here's
bachelor's. Like, yeah,
my-
everyone's got one of those. Anyway,
Well, now I feel like, is this a good transition point into what the process of your creative life has been?
sure, I guess. I mean, I can talk about the HuffPost stuff because it's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Vice arc. I mean, I wrote,
Yeah.
I just did.
How
I,
did you get to be writing on Huffington Post? Because
I elevator pitched. Well, so Huffington Post is now this sort of, it's this very political giant politics
it
machine.
was different.
It's,
like
there was a minute.
2013, 14, 15.
Right.
Was like-
we're of the right age to remember. Like
Yes.
it used to be.
It was great.
think pieces and like interviews, and there was like this sort of very wide variety of stuff that was on there, and politics was just one section.
Right.
And now it's just like CNN, the website. So like,
Yeah.
I don't have any interest in that. I'm not a politics writer. I don't want to be. But I met. It used to be owned by Ariana Huffington,
Right.
who's this sort of badass CEO,
I have her
billionaire
book.
lady. Yeah, so she signed her book for me. I met her in an elevator in San Francisco.
Wow.
Literal
she-
elevator pitch.
I literally like I
Whoa.
met her and she's like, I know your dad. I was like, oh, nice to meet you. And I was like, I'm trying to write. And she's like, oh, send over a sample. And I pitched her this thing. I was like, well, my first article was about stand-up comedy.
Wow.
It was about, it was
Were you
on a
living
lot
in
of.
LA?
No,
guess. New York?
I was visiting my old
DC?
man in San Francisco, and I think they were meeting, and I ran into her, and
Wow.
I was like, "You're meeting my dad? Hey, how's it going?" And she's like, "Oh, he's gonna talk to me about something," and I said, "Like, I'm trying to write. I'm writing this thing. I'm trying to pitch it to, the Daily whatever. I forgot. There was a couple sites before Substack where, and I was like, it's about the cross between." How the modern philosopher is the stand-up comedian. Like the only people who get philosophical concepts into pop culture effectively are comedians, because philosophers and people who write super academics, it's just not accessible. Like no one reads that for pleasure anymore. It's just kind of like where philosophers used to be like the guy in the town square, and people would gather and like really listen to like
Stand up
Plato
on a
and,
soapbox.
yeah, and I was like the only people who still do that, who play with ideas in that way. And sometimes philosophers would play with ideas they don't even believe, right? It's the Socratic method. You ask questions and play with ideas and absurd ideas. I was like, that's comedy. So I just wrote this thing about how, especially Louis at the time, was doing bits that I directly connected back to my like philosophy 101 classes. And
Wow.
he did a bit that the punchline is this thing called the categorical imperative by Kant. And he made it into a joke. And it's like everyone laughed at it and they immediately got it. And I was like, that is the only way these concepts are penetrating pop culture. So I pitched her that, and she goes, I love philosophy. And she like happened to be really into Kant and a bunch of these these like very boring things. And she was like, I actually just read a thing. And she was like, I just got lucky because she was super interested in that topic.
Yeah.
So she's like, let's just put it up. And she like greenlit me through. And she's like, I'll connect you with the editor. Let's do the article. Let's do it. And we'll just do like a freelance basis from now on.
Wow.
And so I got to, I wasn't on staff. They would pay me if they accepted the article.
Right.
I would submit an article. If they liked it, they would edit it. And then, yeah.
And how
Wow.
I was like one of the very few, if not one of the only, like freelance guys that got paid. A lot of people were on the HuffPost blog, and they just did it for exposure. And I was like, if I hadn't pitched to that, I would have been doing that. So I got lucky that she let me get paid.
Were you nervous at any point when you met her in the elevator to like pitch something like that for her, or is that something you don't even worry about in your head? You're just
I mean,
like,
I didn't expect her to offer me a job. I just said, I might as well just throw my hat in the ring here for a second.
yeah.
And then she was like, come with. She was on her way. Sorry, she was on her way to somewhere, and she's like, come with. I jumped in her car with her her posse of like her assistant and like the driver. I jumped in this SUV, and she's like, tell me more about that art, and she wants me to like talk about it. And I was blown away. And then she like signed a book for me. She's like, here, I got one of the books. I was doing a book. She was doing a book signing. That's what it was. That's why she was in San Francisco. And then so HuffPost changed when she left, I think, because she sold the company and she's on to other things. And it became just a news.
How long did you write for them for?
It's like free. So I would write for them whenever I would write for them. But
and would you find that like ideas would come to you just like randomly? You're on a walk, like, oh, I want to write about that, or did you have a routine where you brainstormed and like had this like ritual around?
They come to you when you. I mean, I was watching comedy when that one. I was like, oh, that's actually that bit is not as. I mean, it's a crass like funny Louis C.K. bit. But you kind of go like, wait a second, if I actually said that without the joke hits, that is a very sort of sophisticated philosophical concept that he just laid down. And everyone got it immediately. It's like, it's so hard in a classroom to get that across. And through comedy, you can make people understand that. As long as if you get the laugh, it means you were understood. Like the concept you were playing with landed.
Yeah.
And so it's like, these guys are even unique, even more than writers, are like getting ideas across, even if they're not true ideas. The old philosophers weren't just trying to do like moral activism. They were playing with ideas, right? I think.
I would connect with a comedian sharing a topic like this so much faster than reading what
sort
words
of
have been said,
highfalutin ivory tower,
or a teacher
thing.
speaking to me about something. So
a
brilliant
really amazing idea.
Yeah, here we go. See, somebody else noticed it.
Yeah, and when you write, is it?
That's exactly the bit I was talking about. Yeah.
Is it hard?
I'm not the first person to notice that one, obviously.
Indirectly
but
preaching you should act in a way that if everyone acted that way, things would work out.
And his whole bit was how he doesn't do that. He's like, I almost offered my seat to a veteran, and then he walked by and I didn't say anything. And then I just enjoyed the fantasy of me offering. And I was like, what a sweet man I am to think about offering that and then totally not do it. I'm butchering it. But it's like his bit is about how we all have these thoughts, and a lot of times we don't actually do it.
Right.
And he's like, and it would all work out if we all did those things at the same time. And that's literally like Kant wrote this whole dissertation about how that's how society should function and yada, yada, yada. And it's like you take all these individual... anyway, it's very boring. But
no, it's really
very
interesting,
fascinating.
especially when it comes to creativity. Like even you just sharing your elevator pitch about that article, so many of us in our head would be like, I should just ask, I should just do this, and then we never have the courage. Or
right.
like,
I think
my impulsive thoughts won.
Yeah.
But do you think that has some... I put people in charge on a pedestal, and
Are you a rule follower?
Yes, that's it. He follows my stand-up. Okay, but if I feel like because you went to school with the who's who, who's that, it's like doesn't even.
Oh no, I'm just as nervous. I
You
just talk when I'm nervous instead of
Okay.
Interesting.
so I just blurt and then regret it later.
Have there and would you say that usually is a good thing?
No. I think that was like a uniquely good outcome. And again, she was there to meet my old man, so I had an in. It's not like
Right.
I don't have this thing of like I am self-made. I am in no way self-made. I've had a huge leg up in everything from the start.
But now
which is fine. Like it's just people who don't admit that are assholes. But like,
but
I don't
you
think
also
it's
have to like the door will be opened, but then proving yourself and getting through that door, you actually have to have.
It's from our Delilah conversation.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
We
How
had a good
long
talk.
were you guys at Delilah?
Oh, we didn't even watch the show. We were just chatting about.
Oh my word! But
you should have recorded that.
Well.
Okay.
Invited me and recorded that. Okay. So, but now you said you're.
Why didn't you invite her?
She was out of town.
Yeah.
She's busy.
I was crocheting. So now you said though you are doing your own thing.
Yeah, I literally can't.
like,
I can't.
Which
talk
I
about
don't
it.
want you to talk
But
about,
it's a thing.
but that is something you're doing on your own and like kind of stepping out.
Yeah,
in a different
that's
way.
why I'm not telling anybody about it,
Yeah.
because I wanted to see if it would work on its own.
That's beautiful.
It's not like I don't believe in this sort of. I don't think any man's an island, right? I don't think anybody gets by without help of some kind, and I had huge help. So I think even without attaching my name to it, I still have a lot of help. Like I have the luxury of pursuing an art without like worrying about like 2 or 3 day jobs to get me through the week, and like that's so even there, it's not a vacuum, right? I can't claim that I did this thing and it was like I lifted my bootstraps. I was like I don't even really believe in that. I think everybody gets the help they can get. Like you try to, if you can get help, you get it.
It's hard sometimes also though if people are doing something that they're working on so much on their own, even to ask for help
Sure, yeah.
is difficult. So
Yeah.
I do agree, like in order to grow, you do need to like recognize like I can't do this all on my own.
Yeah, we live in an interpersonal society full of people that you have to bounce off of.
And
to
some
make
people
anything
are
happen.
much better at other things than
Yeah.
you are, and like you just have to be willing
And I
to.
wish I was better at. I mean, my sister's great at this networking thing. Like she has that way of getting people, and I wish I was better at it.
It is a
'Cause
great
that is
skill.
if no other skill is essential for any job, it's that one. Like if you
Yeah.
can network, you're good at. You can be the okay guy in the office, but
Yeah.
you'll rise because people like you and you had an in.
Absolutely.
But,
I need to get better at that too. I just take the business cards and
Yeah, right. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
I got to follow up, you know.
But I just wanted to see. It was less about the ego of it and like trying to be like I did it. It was more
Right.
about like I wonder if this is any good. I'll never really know because I'll either get like it'll skew negative because they hate everything that me and my fam
Right.
have done, or it'll skew really positive because they love Dad or they love the show. And either way, I won't know the actual truth. But if it's this little thing that I release in a vacuum and people just react to it with no knowledge of who's making it, then I'll know what they actually think of it. And I just wanted to see. And so far it's been really positive, actually. So it's been nice. But
That's
and,
amazing.
on a smaller scale than it would have been if I had just told everybody, which
Right.
I will at some point. I just wanted to
Get
do it for a little while and see how it went.
I think that's really, really smart and cool that you're doing it that way.
Thanks. I wanted that praise really bad, and you gave it to me. That's great. That's all I want is people to say I'm good and valid.
But did you find that because you came from like your mom being an actor, your dad being a musician, was being in the arts always like that's just what you were going to do?
Or did you want to be a lawyer at some point?
No, I mean I'm a huge science nerd, but I just I'm when it came to, I mean, this is a cliche to say, I'm terrible at the number crunching bit. Like I would totally in some sort of scientific major if I didn't have to do so much actual just number crunching on paper, because I love, like Carl Sagan and all that crap. So when I was writing, I was trying to interview people like that or write about stuff like that. But I was like, okay, I can be like a science journalist or something. Like I was
Yeah.
going to maybe do that. And then they were like, yeah, there's no money in that, so that's cool.
Well, we like to ask about what you would do if you had 5 alternate
Ooh,
lives.
it's our favorite
Oh,
question.
definitely.
So
in an
would-
alternate universe,
Would one of them be scientist?
Definitely either like a astronomer, astrophysicist, or, I mean, again, I wish I was bright enough to do this. Like I think it takes a certain kind of math brain to do this. So I don't have that. I'm definitely like flowy artist type, and but yeah, definitely something in science for sure. Alternate universe.
Yeah.
This is an alternate
stand
reality.
up, sure, but not in this one.
right?
Because,
Alternate,
yeah,
so-
Alternate.
sure, in some Doctor Strange multiverse.
That's
thing.
very okay.
Yeah, sure, but that's
Okay.
not happening here.
Scientist, stand up. You have
Sure.
You have 3 more. 3 more
Oh,
lives.
5 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
Forces you to get,
When I was a kid, I loved swimming. So swimmer. If I had been into a sport, that would have been it. If I was
Would you want to just be someone who swims or
Race
like
like
an
a-
Olympic swimmer?
like my friend Keith was an Olympic swimmer.
That would be very cool.
That's what he's setting me up with.
He's coming to your he's coming to your show tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Talked about
this
it at
is
Delilah.
exciting.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
have to
I
edit
got
that part
that.
out. No, I don't know.
This is
Whatever.
coming out in 2 months,
That's her
so
boss.
it's all good.
Yeah.
It's coming out way later.
Yeah. So either be together by that point or just
Oh, this could be the beginning of something beautiful. So he's an Olympic
He was.
He's an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. Wow.
he's about 6'4". He's built like a brick.
Is he
shithouse,
wearing
and
a
he's very
Speedo
sweet.
tonight?
You should do comedy. You're
No
London's
way.
written a couple of my jokes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See that to me that is the scariest job. I mean that is
The writer.
no like being a stand up is the scariest, way scarier than being in a band or being. I mean I do. I do gigs around town for fun.
Oh my
and-
God, your voice is
all right.
out of control.
Were you singing at Delilah?
All right, settle down,
Yes.
settle down.
Okay. My God,
I don't know how to take a compliment. Thank you.
I was screaming.
Settle down.
I was screaming. Okay.
That's a compliment coming from Chase.
So that's something I do in a real.
Yes, it is
I do
a compliment.
a couple of these gigs. Right, I work with this club called Delilah, and we do it. They do a jazz night every
Delilah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
There's a jazz night that I helped start kind of with this guy named Buster Frank, and it turned into this whole thing. And now it's like different singers jump up and
Where's
do.
Delilah?
It's in West Hollywood. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
And so I've been doing that for on and off for years. That's been like day night job.
Yeah.
And I just do like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin covers and like Sam Cooke.
That's my kind of music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's me. I'm an
Oh.
oldie.
We
I'm
have
an oldies
to
guy.
go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anytime you want. Yeah.
Thank
Come
you.
on
What's another life? So we've got
by.
Three.
Right. We got three. Right. I swear. I never thought I'd say that. Yeah. Again, I'm
stretching
running
it.
out of things.
if there's only three, there's only
I mean,
three.
like a novelist, sure, but
Oh,
I
yeah, that's
I
a
think
good one.
I think that's something I could still do. I'm also, I think I would also do that under a different name probably.
Ooh.
So I would definitely not release it under my real name. But
Oh.
yeah, that's something I have. I wrote my senior thesis in college was a book, so it's there
Wow.
to be edited if I want to make it
Okay.
not shitty.
I gotta tell you guys. So this is slightly off topic, but
Are
it's
you
about
an author?
books.
Did you write a book?
No.
London.
I just discovered there is a genre of books. It's knitting and crochet erotica. Specifically.
Wait, this is very relevant to your interest. This is I don't know if you like erotica, but this
It
is
came up at my last crochet meetup. Okay, try to
wait, there
Google
are
it.
crochet meetups?
Yes, this lady was listing
It's
all
like the
these
Illuminati of crochet.
all these crazy names of books, and I Googled it. My algorithm's all off because I've been trying to get the book list and
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Now you got smut all the time. Just
Crochet erotica? What do you mean?
They're
Wait, so
like
they're
late
knitting,
night-
and then a guy
late
comes in
Friday night knitting,
and he
it's
helps
like
him
all
knit. It's like he knits the other side, and they meet in the middle.
something like Lady and the Tramp bringing it back, but with yarn. I don't know.
I dream
If
of
you-
yarn.
If yeah,
A knit and it's a coloring
that's a
book.
color.
That's not right.
I saw that one.
You got to
I've-
turn your safe search off, man. Come on.
Oh, maybe that was my issue, but
That's
this-
why my mom didn't pop up in Playboy.
I was dying laughing.
Isn't
at
it?
these
Isn't it amazing?
names.
I'm not more fucked up than I am. Anyway,
I think you are a stellar gentleman.
that's sweet.
Stellar.
You know, it's funny. I have
you have
such
some
anxiety.
dark humor, though.
I have such anxiety about even people going like, "You're down to earth," because I'm always, I'm suspicious of I don't trust myself. I'm suspicious. Like I'm always like, nah, but they don't know. Like the dark I know there's no dark underbelly, but it's like I fooled them all like into thinking I'm not bad and wrong, and it's like an anxiety thing. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm always like, if they only knew, but
No,
I don't know.
You've
I don't
got
know
a
what
great
I'm.
head on your shoulders.
Oh,
Yeah.
here's some knitting books.
Oh.
Hooked on Murder.
Hooked
Hooked is a pun on a crochet hook.
Okay.
That doesn't seem so erotic to me, but ooh, knit one, kill two.
Wow.
Wait. I
But what
thought
happens with knitting in the? I don't
is
get how.
erotica murder?
No, I think
That's thriller.
these are just
Maybe.
That's-
These are just the
Erotic
top
thriller.
fiction for the fiber artist.
Would
What?
you ever write one of these, London?
I would never write one.
This is wild shit.
I know.
I like Hooked on Murder.
Me too.
Crochet mystery
Knit one,
number
kill two is.
It's a hey.
Guilty.
But it's like, it sounds like it's a noir, like it's like a sexy murder mystery.
Oh yeah. Usually it's knit one, pearl two.
I wonder if these
so-
are pseudonyms. I wonder if these are real names.
Sweet gun.
What if it's just like
Ladies knit for love. Sounds like a page turner, am I right?
what if it's just like Jonathan Safran Foer under a different name? Like he just like I have my literature and then I write my knit things under this name,
Yeah.
John Smith. Like I don't
Yeah.
want everybody to know about my knitting fantasies.
Yeah.
Dead men don't crochet.
Well, here's
sure don't.
a topic for you for your pseudonym
Right.
novels. If you
All right, so that's the fourth, I guess.
Yep, yep.
Uh,
Just if you needed any other inspiration.
Sure.
novelist is a imaginary life of mine. I think it would be really fun to fly to Bali, get a little house for
Do you
3
think-
months and
Do you
write.
think novelists hang out on the beach a lot? I feel like they're indoors a
I
lot.
think Obama went to Bali to write his book, and that just sounded
he did
so
other things for a
nice.
living before
Yeah.
he wrote that book, I think.
I think
I think
maybe
he had some resources handy. I think a lot of writers
That's
are usually
the
in
type
their
of
basement.
novelist
You know.
I want to be.
He had a
where
lot
I
of
could-
followers on Twitter.
He had a few.
Yeah.
He had a few reasons to.
He could just
go to
fly
the
to
beach.
Bali, but that's
Obama is your example. I want to be a novelist like Obama.
Like Obama. I hear he did pretty well.
Yeah. Jesus
that's
Christ.
the type of novelist I want to be.
A novelist
good
with
one.
access to the nuclear codes. And that's
That's a great alternative life answer.
Jesus.
If anybody asks me,
you.
I may
Okay.
have to say that.
Steal it.
Fifth.
Fifth.
I was very, very, for a hot second, playing with the idea of getting like a teaching degree because my dad was a teacher before he was in a band.
What?
He was a history teacher.
I don't think many people know that.
He talks about it all the time.
Oh,
He's like, yeah, he loves a good horn toot.
That's
And
what
so-
all of season 7 was about, Chase.
No, he literally goes like, "I am smart, you know," and he's like, "Oh, tell me more about that, you humble person."
Well, I think in this lifetime you could probably get a teaching degree.
I think you could do all these
I don't.
in this
I don't want to do. I mean,
lifetime,
I think I would be. I'd be too. Again, I have a dark sense of humor. I think I would be too tempted to say something fucked up in class.
Oh,
and
to the
get
children.
Fired. No, well, I would college prof. I wouldn't.
College.
I don't. It's funny.
I don't mess with the kids.
Kids love me, but I don't want to babysit kids.
I don't either.
I'll be a cool uncle for sure, but I don't.
Teacher is in one of my alternate lives too.
Yeah, I just think there's something cool about like, college professor always struck me as a kind of a cool job to have. Like you could be really good at your area, and like
You could wear scarves.
These young adults are like kind of. I wanted to be like the cool professor, like
Yes.
the professor that everybody's like, oh, Mister whatever, is so cool.
You would be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anyway,
you would.
I'm
Mr.
not.
whatever.
I'm not going to do this. But
Okay.
Chase wanted to be a teacher because she wanted to be a professional whiteboard eraser.
just the feeling of that. It's just
When I was young,
ASMR.
if you asked me what I wanted to be, I wanted to be a whiteboard eraser.
so. Just you want to be a TA.
Yeah.
You want to be the person.
Yeah.
Hey, wipe that down. I got to write some more. Okay, yeah, got
yeah.
it. Sorry. You don't need a degree for that. You can just go.
Why I said my answer was being a teacher
You
when
could
I
do
was
that
younger.
tomorrow. You
Yeah.
could just
Yeah.
go.
Oh
Hey.
well, my mom would always get me whiteboards for Christmas.
For Christmas, and Chase would just.
This is a very strange lane. I've never heard of a whiteboard obsession.
Oh, I loved them.
I'm not here to kink shame.
I don't
That's-
think there even are whiteboards anymore. I think it's like a light drawing pad or
I've
something.
heard. I've heard that kids now, and this is gonna date me so hard, but I've heard they have like smart screen chalkboards now.
Yeah,
in
that's
a lot
what
of
it-
classrooms.
That's what
like,
you're talking
I
about.
think so.
where
Yeah.
it's like it's connected to like an iPad and shit. I'm just like, wow, I have reached that age where I'm like, what are the kids doing nowadays? Like, what-
Same.
I
Those
know,
kids.
It's crazy.
They have like smart, and like I saw a meme where they were like, when your teacher da 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 the smart board. And I go, smart board? What the fuck is a smart board? Am I out of the loop now? Like I've
I
aged
had
out.
like one smart board. Like it was starting to happen.
You're
I'm
such
a couple years
baby.
You're a
younger
couple
than
years
you
younger.
two.
Oh my god.
But there was like it was starting to happen as I was getting out.
Yeah.
Bless.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's like, oh yeah, when my stem cell clone did my homework for me, she's like,
Can you imagine if Chat GPT
GPT.
yeah.
GPT was around when we were in school? We would just
rampant cheating. I don't know. I
Oh,
mean, they have to know that
1,000%.
they have to know that no one is starting their own papers anymore.
No.
Right?
I mean, I'm not even writing my own emails anymore.
But like,
It's-
it's so good. And how could you? And if you then edit it afterwards to put your
Then
own voice into it,
how
how
do
could
they know?
anybody know? It
No.
doesn't. That paper didn't exist. I mean, I don't
I
know.
know.
How could any teacher compete with this?
You
No way.
can't.
Dude, people are going to be so dumb. Like,
Oh, they're gonna be so dumb.
but so
And so
good at other
confident.
things. Like,
hopefully, they're learning how to code. I mean,
Right.
that I'll take.
I think we have to move with the times and embrace the technology. And like,
But are there going to be any good writers?
there may not need to be.
Oh,
yeah, there might not need to be.
oof.
Except I did.
Can't wait
type
for the stand-up comedians
I
to come by.
I put stand-up jokes into Chat GPT. And
Isn't GBT like the drug that
Or the
Segura overdosed
British pound.
on? GHP.
GHP.
Segura overdosed once, and I am a podcast consumer. I've had many.
Wow, GHP I've never even heard of. But
It's a whole story. He did a bit about it. I'll let him do it.
okay.
Google it.
But I typed in like, hey, write a joke about this, and it was so bad. I was hoping it could write
Just
my jokes
wait.
for me.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a matter of a couple years now. Like I didn't this level of AI I did not expect while I was still young. Like I expected this maybe as I was dying in an
I'm
old
thrilled
home.
it's here for us when we're young.
Yeah, I'm terrified and excited. Yeah. Singularity
judge.
stuff is terrifying. We don't have to
GHP.
GHB. Is
Okay,
not-
well, can I try? I'm doing today's 420 for anyone listening. It's not
We're
420.
recording it on 420.
It's not 420 when you're listening this back.
I'm the worst guest for this. I
Okay.
waited till it was legal.
But I have a 420 show tonight. Can I tell you one joke?
Yes, please.
Because I've been writing weed jokes. Now, I was gonna say, oh, I'm not a big 420. Like I'm not a big weed smoker. I'm more into coke. But should I do? I'm more into GHP.
No.
No, Coke is more of a
Okay.
it's more of a consonant hit.
Okay. Just wanted to see if GHP.
or go harder, like black tar heroin or something. I mean, go.
I'm more into black tar heroin. Oh, is that funnier?
I don't know.
I think
Coke is funnier.
I do too.
I'm
Because
with
it's
you.
more believable.
Because then you...
punch.
The funny case.
I think he's right. I think the consonant hit is that you want a quick punch in the gut, and you're by the way, you're taking advice from non-comedians, so all
you
grain of
guys are-
salt.
Oh, but
Yeah,
I mean,
You guys know
we're
comedy.
very good audience members.
That's, I mean, Bill Burr said this on it. He was like, yeah, I've watched football for years. They shouldn't let me coach. So, you know,
You could even go like, I'm more into Coke.
A cola. I knew you were
But,
going to say that.
Yeah.
this is why she's a pro. This is
Yeah.
why.
But I feel like Coke.
What about more into Coke or Pepsi? No. See,
It's hard-
okay.
comedy's
Okay, we're
hard.
getting head shakes. Oh, I know. I don't
look,
do it.
when I
That's
said
good,
black
though.
tar heroin, my heart was thumping. Like
Tell-
I was like,
tell your-
this is bad.
No.
Don't
Tell
say
your
it.
joke.
Don't
Tell your
suggest
dark
the joke.
comedy
I tell
joke.
it every
Okay,
week.
tell it.
Your dark comedy
Oh,
joke.
She has a dark
Oh, the one you
comedy
wrote?
joke.
I'm
She
like
wrote
a
it.
party trick to chase. Okay.
I've said it at a couple shows. Okay, go.
All
Say-
right.
say.
Here we go.
Does it work?
No. It's not even good.
Wait, you're gonna tell a joke that doesn't work right now?
Okay.
Well,
All right, go.
there's
Go,
not going to
please.
be really a laugh here, but okay,
No.
go on.
I will laugh.
Hi, I'm London. I'm here to do some dark comedy. If you wouldn't mind, just turning down the lights a little. Yep. Keep going. All the way off. And then I walk.
And the
on
lights
stage.
go down. Dark comedy.
Have you done it?
I've done it
You
twice.
should do it tonight.
Oh, I
Well, also,
should.
yeah, here's the thing about that, though. I think this is a really good joke for her
the
because
stakes are really high.
her whole vibe
High.
is sunshine and rainbows.
Absolutely.
And it's, by the way, it's amazing you're flourishing in this dark, fucked up world that you're in. It's incredible. I don't know how you're keeping stay gold, pony boy. And it's wild that you're like still this. You're such a positive. How do you hang out with Potter?
Golden
Like,
retriever puppy.
How do you hang out with Josh Potter? Like Josh is the darkest motherfucker I've ever met.
Josh has a light side to him. He
I guess you're right.
happens to know a lot about musical theater.
And murder and like,
He has both sides. But also just running one more by you. Should I say, oh, it's a 420 show. Thank God it's not a 420 show.
I don't get it.
Josh Potter
Oh, I thought COVID-19.
can't see.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay.
Wait, Josh Potter. What did Josh do?
2020 vision.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, if you had mentioned Josh, I would have gotten that.
Oh, okay.
If you had like
So
referenced
Josh
yeah.
Potter asked me to do a 420 show. I said, thank God it's not a 420 show.
Oh.
If he had just come off and like, I think you should mention his and be like,
I didn't write that. A fan of his wrote it and told me to
I
say
think it would
at the
take
show.
it would take a
Nah.
second to get, and I think you have to reference his glasses so that people know what you're talking about.
It would be a little mean too.
no,
Yeah.
he fucking dude. He jokes about his
Oh.
blindness all the time. Are you kidding? Have you heard him talk about it?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm blind as shit, and he's
Okay.
fucking like.
Okay, so I have to reference the glasses first.
I mean, it's a dark thing, but like he's a real comedian. Like the way he deals with all this shit is.
Rob saying
make fun of
no.
He said, "Don't do it."
I don't. I think even explaining it, I don't think most people are going to get it.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the reason. Not that I don't think Josh would be offended.
No, Josh wouldn't give a
No.
shit, but
No one's gonna get it.
I don't think people are going to get. Also, they're going to be very high,
Uh-huh.
so maybe they'll laugh anyway. But
That's a
they're
good
definitely
point.
not going to
You know what?
understand it.
This is a good point. I think you should taper your expectations of this audience because they might all be high, and they'll be on like a 10-second laugh delay.
Okay.
They'll be like, they'll be like,
That's a joke.
what? Like,
If someone doesn't
No,
laugh, it
someone
could be
said it.
like, oh,
You're
you're
like-
probably just high.
You'll have to wait for 20 seconds for a response.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh, but
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, look, we just had a little creative writing
Yes,
session.
a little sesh.
That was so much more nerve-wracking than anything I've ever done. Like,
Oh. You made it through.
Dude, comedians are the new like cool kids in school. It's crazy. When I took my friend Calais, he's like one of the funny guys in the group, and I took him to Josh's show at the store, and like we were hanging out with Josh and like a couple other comedians, and Calais looked at me and he's like, "Usually I'm pretty good in a social setting. I feel like they're way funnier than anybody. Like the skill set, it never turns off, and it's like you feel like the nerd in school who's trying to talk to the jock." It's totally reversed. Like in high school, the comedians feel like we were nerds, we were outcasts. Not anymore. Like
Wow, that is
comedians are like
Chase,
they're
look
very
at you, cool kid.
comedians are very intimidating to hang out with because they just have such a high bar for what's clever and quick, and so you're just like you cannot compete. It's very impressive and like scary.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel around comedians too.
But
So,
you are one of the ilk. I mean, you have this quality of like,
very nice.
the level of clever comeback and stuff that she's used to is so far beyond me and my buddies hanging out.
I
Well-
actually think, well, you don't like compliments, but I think you're pretty
See?
quick. And our dad is very funny, and that's why I think you're so quick too.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Anyways.
Well, I think this has been really fun. I've learned a lot about you.
You're like, Nick, you've talked enough. Can
no,
we
we've come to the end of our podcast.
This is the longest
This is it.
episode we've done. We can't stop
I
talking
seem
to
to,
you.
I seem to keep doing that to people.
No,
I'm sorry.
this was great though, and thank you for sharing your 5 lives,
Yeah, thanks.
alternate lives. And I had no idea you were nervous sitting next to Chase this whole time. Since she's
Oh, yeah.
such a cool comedian.
It's
here.
like I'm the guy with the pocket protector, and she's like head cheerleader, and she's like, "What's your name again?
You have
Are you
no
in the same class as
pocket.
me?"
Did
have
you
a
like that
skull on your
joke?
shirt.
Yeah. Did you? Do you think it was funny when I said the thing? And she's like, "Yeah, whatever." Anyway,
Well, where can people find you? Where can we follow along? See you
if
on
I
other podcasts.
reveal anything about stuff, it'll be on Nick T. Simmons on Instagram. I don't really fuck with. I mean, even before Elon and everything, I didn't fuck with Twitter for years now. But
Yeah.
it sits
Yeah.
there. It's there.
Sits there.
Okay, but
But
Instagram is where you should
pretty.
go
I'm
to.
I'm not making it. The project that no one knows about has a TikTok. I'm not gonna make one for myself. So Instagram. Nick
Instagram.
T.
And
Simmons
one
is
day
the-
you'll reveal the project.
Yeah, if
so.
it feels right, I'll do it. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I've been doing this for a year or two, and here it is. Yeah.
That's very cool.
I sent it to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
follow it.
at Delilah.
At Delilah.
Don't say you follow it. They're gonna figure it out.
I follow a lot of accounts.
Okay. All right.
Also, we have up here Knitwit's Adventures in Erotic Knitting book. It's been up there for a while.
Nitwits.
It's only
Nitwits.
$2.99.
It's a bargain.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
It's $2.99. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Is your pseudonym?
Yeah, you found my book.
AK,
You found it. You've busted me. That is my book.
can't read
That-
it, yeah.
I
I
wrote
know, it's a little
Nitwits
small.
Adventures
AK
in Erotic Fiction.
Wow.
Allow.
That is definitely a pseudonym.
What if that was like what I was hiding, and you just stumbled upon? Did you know there's knitting erotic fiction? And I was like, oh shit, oh shit! I am the highest selling knitting erotic fiction writer of all
Is
time.
anybody else sweating? Is it hot in here?
I'm really. Let's move on. Let's talk about something else. And it just sees like the author page. It's me with a bad mustache. Like, I love knitting and porn.
That would be funny.
I made a comedian laugh. My day's made.
On that note,
Thank you for
Yeah,
being
yeah,
here.
fuck off.
I feel like that's a good place to end. You
It
can
is.
follow London at Made by London, and Chase at Chase underscore
holding my
O'Donnell.
hand.
And what a great episode. Thank you so
Thank you so
much,
much.
Nick.
Thanks for having me. I'm sorry I'm sweating.
We're inspired and tired after this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tired. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a lot of socializing for me.
All right.
You guys are
well,
great.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.